We have our absolute deal breakers, right? But what's the best way to avoid those red flags that can torpedo your budding romance? Relationship coach Leah Morris is here to answer this question. Okay, so we're talking red flags.
Yes.
But what is a red flag? What would one be?
Great question. So a red flag is going to vary from person to person. Typically, it's what makes you uncomfortable. A red flag is what's not okay for you, and you got to listen to yourself.
That's hard though.
It
Do you
can
have
be.
any examples?
Yes. One of the most recent, not personally, that I've heard is not being introduced to friends and family after a time period when it's appropriate to be introduced to friends and family.
Yeah, that's so awkward.
It can be.
Don't you think people, when that happens, they would leave the relationship, or people actually stay in that?
Well, the thing is, we always have red flags in relationships. It's nothing to avoid. So it's important to communicate, to really ask questions, to seek to understand the truth behind what you're reacting to. So it's not always a deal breaker, but sometimes it can be, and that's up to the person to decide.
So is that what you're supposed to do? If one of those red flags goes off and something weird is going on, you got to just jump right in and tackle it.
Absolutely. Be comfortable getting uncomfortable. Ask those important questions. It's so good to address it immediately so that you can have resolve in the relationship together.
Is there a specific way to do it? Like, how would you recommend it? Because kind of jumping in those conversations can be very difficult.
Yes.
And if I was doing it, I would go about it all wrong. I would start yelling. You don't probably want to do that.
Sure. I think openness and honesty is very important. So one of the phrases I use is, I'm feeling a little unsettled by this. Is there something else that I might need to know?
Oh.
So I always bring it back to myself and say, I feel this. Could you please let me know if you have a part in me feeling this?
Some people will then get very defensive and kind of say, well, you do this. How do you tackle that?
Well, you know, if they can't handle the communication, if they get defensive or they shut down, then maybe there's something deeper that needs to be addressed. Maybe it's not the right person.
Yeah.
But open and honest communication between two individuals is key to a healthy relationship. So if that's not present, maybe it's time to move on.
Okay, we mentioned maybe not introducing you at the right time. What are some other red flags that people can kind of be on the lookout for? What are some common ones?
Sure. A common one is having different intentions for the relationship. So maybe one person just wants to date once a week and have a good time. The other person's looking for a long-term commitment and has serious feelings. That can be a red flag.
Ooh.
Definitely needs to be addressed.
So again, that communication, knowing what the relationship is, because you know you can get frustrated, but if you didn't talk about it, it's really not fair to get frustrated.
Exactly.
Oh, easier said than done.
Yes.
All right, we'll work on it. Leah, thank you.
Thank you.